The Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, has issued an active shooter alert on campus. Moments ago, the school posted this on Twitter, quote, Buckeye alert, active shooter on campus, run, hide, fight, Watts Hall, 19th and College. Deborah Ferrick is with us now. She has a little bit more information. This is a huge university, 66,000 students. What more can you tell us?
Well, what we do know is that there's a huge response right now. The police are on scene. Other agencies responding as well. The fire department there also. That part that you read out, the run, hide, fight, that is really a warning to the students. That's what they're supposed to do. First they run. If they encounter anybody, then they fight. Then they hide and then they fight. And so that is normal, sort of, when you're dealing with an active shooter situation. That's what they are conveying to the students. But right now we know that police are responding, as are other law enforcement agencies, and they are trying to determine exactly what is going on. We are told that it is in an area. Well, it's on the campus. We're trying to confirm that right now. But those are the few details that we have as we work the phones, Carol.
All right, Deborah Ferrick, stand by. I'm going to let you get to finding out more information. I want to go to, do we have this Ohio State student? Okay, we're working on getting an Ohio State student who did hear gunshots. But before that, let's bring in Tom Fuentes, our law enforcement analyst. Tom, this is a huge, huge campus. It's right in the middle of a very large city in Ohio. So how challenging is this for authorities?
Well, the biggest challenge, Carol, from the beginning is to make sure that there actually was a shooting and that they're actually, pursuing something that actually occurred. We have so many of these instances where somebody thinks they heard a shot, heard a loud noise or something, and then later they can't verify that there actually was a shooter. So first we have to verify that there was, and I haven't heard if that's already been done. I'm just joining you now suddenly. But if that's already been done, they have to determine that first, and then try to find out from there, do they have somebody who just is randomly going to shoot other people? Is this a personal dispute between a couple of people where somebody has a vendetta to go after an individual? All of those are yet to be determined.
We understand Columbus Fire is also on the scene. We don't know exactly what that means. It could mean there are injuries. We just don't know anything. Tom, you're absolutely
authorities have put out that exact same statement. I know when we had the report of a hospital shootings, I believe at the naval facility in San Diego, they put out a very similar thing and I commented on the air at the time that if you're in a hospital bed, where are you going to run to, where are you going to hide, and how are you going to fight? But this is a generic thing that the authorities put out, or the school authorities put out to pretty much just try to cover themselves and tell everybody that we've warned you to do something.
All right, Tom, stand by. We do have that Ohio State student on the phone right now. His name is Wyatt Crosher. Hi, Wyatt.
Hi.
What are you hearing?
We heard the gunshots about maybe a half hour ago from our dorm across the street. We can't see much, but we did hear the sirens from across the street, and they're still going.
You're at 19th and College?
Yes, we're in Nosker House, which is on Woodruff. It's across the street.
Did you hear do you know for sure it was gunfire, or did it sound like it?
We can't know for sure. We can't know for sure, but we did hear like 3 or 4 things that would sound like gunshots, and then we heard sirens come, so we assumed they were gunshots.
So that alert, did it come over your phone from Ohio State?
Yes, there's a school-wide alert that we get through text message from Ohio State that told us to stay safe.
And then what are you doing to stay safe?
We're just staying in our room. No one's allowed to leave our dorm, so we're just staying safe and seeing what updates come in.
Did someone come through the halls and tell you to stay put?
No one came through the halls. We just got the text message, and in the lobby, they're telling us we have to go back into our rooms.
Gotcha. So it must be nerve-wracking for you not knowing exactly what's going on with what you've heard.
Right. It's very scary. We don't know much. We just know there was an active shooter across the street.
So we're getting now pictures from WBNS, which is a local affiliate of ours from Columbus, and we're seeing police vehicles on the scene right now. What can you see from your window?
From our window, we can see about the same thing. We just see a bunch of police cars and ambulances around the hall where the shooting supposedly took place.
Is this sort of thing still surprising to you that something like this could happen on your campus?
Yes, it is surprising. I know there's a lot of people that go here, but it's still surprising to see an incident like this, especially when it's so close to you. It's a scary thing.
And do you have your roommate in the room with you? Are you alone?
No, I'm with my roommate and one of my other friends.
Well, that's a good thing. And have you called your families?
Oh, yes, I told them that I was safe.
So was it your mom?
It was my dad. I'm about to call my mom after this.
Oh, my goodness, your mom's not going to be happy with you, Wyatt.
I know.
What did your dad say to you?
He just wanted to make sure that I'm safe, and he wanted to see if I knew anything of what was going on, but first he wanted to make sure I was safe.
And what state is your dad in?
He's also in Ohio. He's up in the Cleveland area.
Oh, so he's far away. So,
yeah.
I don't know. This could drag on for a long time. I just can't imagine how you're feeling along with your roommates.
Right. No, it's a scary thing for sure. We don't know much of what's going on, but the fact that it's so close makes it a lot scarier.
So going back to going back to the sounds you heard that might be gunfire, were they really loud? Did they come in quick succession?
They did come in quick succession. From where we were, we could just faintly hear something that sounded like they could be little pops, but then the sirens came, so then we kind of assumed what they were, and then we got the notification saying there were shots fired, so that's where we kind of assumed that they were gunshots.
All right, Wyatt, I'm going to let you go so you can call your mom, and you better do it
right
when you get off the phone. Thank you, Wyatt Crosier.
Thank you.
Wyatt Crosier, an Ohio State student. I want to go back to Tom Fuentes. So we're seeing pictures of the scene right now, Tom. I don't know how much you can tell us from what you...
Go ahead. If you look at the photos of the scene, you'll see that they have the yellow police line tapes spread across the road. That indicates to me that they have a contained crime scene, and they're not looking for an active shooter, I don't think, running around, because everybody outside of that yellow tape seems to be pretty calm and more or less standing around. So to me, just looking at these aerial photos, I would say that whatever they have, it's contained in that building or near that building, since they have the police tape keeping everyone out, and the people that are on the outside aren't exactly being told to shelter in place or to run back in their buildings. They're going about their business or standing around watching to see what happens next. But to me, I think this looks like a contained situation, and that at least the active shooter part of this may be called off pretty soon.
And it's likely something happened with all of this police activity on campus.
Right, it appears so, because you have fire department vehicles, ambulances, police cars, all standing by. So, whatever is happening, though, I think they believe to be contained inside the perimeter of that yellow police tape.
Is it easier for authorities to deal with shootings when universities are in the middle of a major metropolitan area?
I don't think it's ever easy for them. We've had these shootings at colleges and universities in more rural areas, and then they wonder if the person, that got out of the area and ran into the woods. Obviously, in an urban environment like this university and the capital of Ohio, it's a large urban area. It would be difficult, but just the nature, the fact that you see so many people standing around, it doesn't seem like they would be in fear of their lives if they're just standing around watching.
Oh, I hope now. I want to bring in Joe Giacalone. He's a former NYPD sergeant. He's also a law enforcement analyst. Joe, I know we have very little information to go on, but you heard what Tom has been saying. You heard from that student that I interviewed, Wayne Crosier, who said he heard 3 pops that sounded like gunfire. When you survey this scene, what do you see?
Yeah, I was just looking at the video there, and nobody seems to be in a big rush. I mean, we saw something like this happen in JFK recently, where there was a couple of what people thought were gunshots, and everyone panicked, and it turned out, luckily, to be nothing. Let's hope that this is the case here. I mean, a lot of people just standing around, so I think if there was something that was really going on, I think law enforcement would have these people moving along and, put them in some place in safety. But I see the tweets went out from Ohio State University. They got the message out quick. which is excellent, and I think that social media plays a big role in these things going forward.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that you work at a university here in New York City, so that Ohio State sent out this particular warning to students: run, hide, stay safe. Universities have really worked on drills so that students will be safe during these kinds of situations.
Yes, absolutely. We have I teach at John Jay College. We have CUNY Alert, which goes right to your cell phone via text message, or you can follow on Twitter or Facebook, the other different pages. I think that the text message is the way to go, because every kid basically has a cell phone, and it's a way to get information out quickly to the group. And yes, run, hide, and then fight is of course the last version that is taught.
So are there drills for students, freshmen coming in? Because when the word fight, it's like, so how do you fight a person who has a gun?
Well, that's the last resort measure, and that's if you're cornered. This is it. There's no other option that you can do, and hopefully that you can go for the element of surprise. That's why we teach the kids that in an event this happens, if you can escape immediately, you do so. You run out of an exit door, whatever, you can staircase, whatever it may be. And if you're trapped somewhere, you try to hide, either a closet, under a table, somewhere out of sight. And that's basically what you're doing, because the shooter is going to be just looking for those live targets. And if they don't see anything, they might move on to it. The school has even retrofitted the doors where they can actually put these shields up so that the shooter couldn't even look into a room to see if somebody was in there. So they're trying to do the best they can under the circumstances that we're seeing nowadays.
Okay, I didn't hear the end part of what you said, Joe, but we understand that Ohio State students got this emergency text. In fact, that's what a student told me that I interviewed a little earlier, that the warning came over a text. And you're right, social media and iPhones play a huge part in keeping students safe on campuses these days.
Yes, I mean, we have these retrofitted doors now that you can't see in. And it's a way so that the shooter, when they're walking by during a corridor, they look into the classrooms, they can't see anything. And this is an extra protection for the kids.
Okay, I'm just getting more eyewitness accounts. This is from an Ohio State student whose name is Anthony Falzarano. He's 22. He's a senior at Ohio State. He was in class at the time of the shooting. And I'll read this to you, Tom, and then you can comment afterwards. Anthony says, there's a lot of police and fire trucks and an ambulance outside the building. The officers are putting on Kevlar vests and have big weapons. I can't see anyone going inside the building, and he must be talking around 19th and College, because that's where the sound of gunfire was reported. He says, there's just so many cops here. We heard a lot of sirens. I was in class, and everyone got a text message at the same time for the emergency alert. Someone said they heard popping right before we got the alert, but I didn't hear it. We're in shelter in place right now in the building next door. It's a lot of information, Tom, right?
Are they? Doesn't give you enough key information as to what the situation is there. You still have that there was a lot of that sounded like gunfire being heard by some people, even though the student didn't hear it, and now you have a huge police response. The way they've set up a perimeter around that building, they may still believe that there's a shooter in the building, or they're going to try to be certain and do a building clearing exercise, which can take a long time to go room to room, closet to closet, every possible place an individual could hide. So you could have a situation where individuals were shot and then the shooter might have killed himself, might already be dead, or might be hiding inside the building. But it's still, or they could be holding hostages also as another possibility. But it doesn't, right now it just doesn't seem that they have, that they believe they have a shooter at large anywhere else but inside that yellow police tape perimeter.
So, Joe, how long will these students have to stay in place, do you think?
They have to make sure that this building is perfectly clear before they do anything. It also depends on the type of the weapon that's being alleged, too. So you would want to create an even bigger perimeter if there's a long gun, like a rifle or a shotgun, and, get those kids to safety. Right now, the best thing is to have them stay where they are until law enforcement can go room to room, closet to closet, and search. I mean, this is a very trying time for law enforcement, too. This is a very difficult task because they don't know who or what they're actually looking for.
All right. Do I still have Deb Favorick with me?
Which is the cell?
Okay. All right. She is on the phone with her sources right now, so I'm not going to bother her at this moment. But for those viewers just joining us right now, there was an active shooter alert reported at Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. It's a very large place, 66,000 students here, right in the middle of a large municipality, Columbus, Ohio. Students, teachers, faculty, everyone urged to shelter in place and avoid the area. Just a few moments ago, probably about 45 minutes ago, this Buckeye alert came out from Ohio State University. Active shooter on campus, run, hide, fight, Watts Hall, 19th and College. That specifically is from the Ohio State Emergency Management Team. Now, students are in their dorm rooms. They're locked in place. Some students are still in class. They are also locked in place. They all got this message, run, hide, and fight, on their iPhones via text message. Some got it on Facebook. Some got it via Twitter. So the campus has come to a screeching halt at this time. And you can see lots and lots of police vehicles around 19th and College. That's where the sounds that some thought were gunfire rang out.
Something big going on.